Today, I'm going to show you how to use the Niagara particle system in Unreal Engine to make trail effects for your missiles or flares. So, let's say you already have some kind of fast-moving object, like a missile, and you want to add in the effects of the rocket motor burning and the smoke trail left behind. To do that, we'll just make a Niagara particle system and use the fountain as the base for our system, as it's the closest we have in templates. Now, the first thing we'll do is change our particle material to smoke. It is one of the materials in the starter content pack, but in case you've created the project without it, don't worry. You can add it like this and just move the smoke material and its textures, and then just delete the rest. Now change the material to msmoke sub UV and set the image size to 8x8. You should now see little smoke clouds shooting up, but that looks nothing like smoke. To fix that, let's disable gravity and make them increase in size over time to simulate the smoke cloud dispersing. Just a quick thing I wanted to say during editing, sometimes your points would move away from the view when you change them, and you could just press the F key to make sure that all of your points are visible within the graph. Now let's add them to our blueprint. To do that, we should add a Niagara particle system component and select our system in the dropdown. Notice that the smoke is shooting up, just like in the demo. To avoid having to rotate it every time, we can go back and change the cone axis. Now the missile has a smoke trail, but there's actually a problem. It's not really visible at slow speeds, but if we look at the missile closely, as it accelerates, we'll notice that the trail is starting to lag behind it. Well, that's easy, you might say, we'll just increase the spawn rate. And while that will help to fill in the gaps, the beginning of the trail will always lag behind. This is because the particles are spawned before the physics step, so that is before the missile is moved. This results in the trail constantly lagging behind for one frame. To fix it, we just need to set the Niagara tick behavior to use component tick group and set that to post physics. And voila, the lag problem is fixed. Now let's just make a few final adjustments. Remove the shape location and reduce the cone angle, then increase the initial sprite size and lifetime. Also, let's change the scaling from normalized H to just H. Finally, let's set a higher drag and higher initial velocity. This might look weird in the preview, but in-game it'll help us to convey that feeling that the smoke is not just being spawned behind, but is rather forced out by an engine. By the way, you can obviously tweak the parameters to your liking, but this should give you a reasonable trail for most circumstances. However, there is one last problem. The missile doesn't have an exhaust plume. To add it, let's copy our emitter to make the engine fire. Obviously, the hot gas from the engine is glowing red hot, so we will need a new material that has emission. Copy our smoke and drag the particle color to the output emissive color. Now let's select our emissive smoke for our fire. Then go to the color scale and change mode to color curve. Set the initial color to red and the final color to yellow. Also make sure the final opacity is set to 0. This still doesn't look like it's glowing, so set the V component for both colors to like 8000. After saving, you will now see that the flame looks like a flame, but it doesn't really behave as such. To fix it, let's change the lifetime to something like between 10 and 50 milliseconds because, it'll cool down quickly. And again, these values are just something that you should tweak for your exact use case. I'm just showing the overall design. And that'll be it for today. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave a like, and if you want to see files for this project, then consider supporting me on Patreon to get access to this and future source files.